All aboard! Hello and welcome to today's edition of Shaky Hand Shed. We'll be taking this kid paint and trashed little HORNBY 040 industrial tank, and we'll be making it a lot better. It's a little bit longer than normal today, but I'm sure folks will find it worthwhile, because it ends up a nice little build. Anyway, I'm taking off the chassis. I actually swapped it out for another chassis off another project I'm going to be doing, because it didn't matter really which chassis I used for which. It just sped the build up. If anything, it makes this video a little bit shorter than it would have been. It's running which were the other chassis. Why I did it, I'd have had to paint it. I'd have had to paint the wheels, which didn't match. So we're all running good there. Anyway, it's just been through brake fluid to strip the paint off. And what I'm doing here, I'm shaving the handrails off, because I've decided to put more realistic ones on. Just shaving the plastic off, and same on the other side. Shave the mounting areas and the plastic off. Like, they do look fair on a kid's toy. They look fair for a model. But the proper handrails had that bit extra to them. It's a fiddly job, but it's well worth doing. Because this, although it looks like a made up tank, it were actually a locomotive. There weren't many of them. I think it were called something like a Type D or whatever. So it were modelled on a real locomotive. But I think they were an industrial tank rather than a British rail tank. And there I'm removing a mould line that was on the running plate area, or whatever we call it. I'm not sure if you call it a foot plate at front. Well, I am, but I just can't think of it. The name, and there we're sanding off just the remnants, just to smooth it off, make it a wee bit better. Just sand it down. And here we're removing the nipple. Oh, matron. What it is, at this point, that's probably where the plastic were injected. When it come out of the mould, that's more than likely where they broke the actual feed off. They call it a feed, to feed in the plastic. They'll have broke the feed off from there on top of the dome. It's probably that it's a good area to feed from, but a bad area when you're trying to tidy your model up, where they could have joined it. Like, if they'd have done it underneath, it'd have probably been a bad area to feed the plastic in from. And what I did here, I bought a replacement smoke box door, and really suppliers of these items on eBay replacement smoke box doors and that, virtually none of them give the measurements, so you have to make a guesstimate or take a risk. I took a risk and I had to shave a wee bit off, but I can live with that. I shaved a wee bit off, then sanded it, and it went on quite well, and it makes a decent replacement. Once it's painted up, you know, no different. And at this point I'm drilling for the handrails, and this is a fiddly job if you've got crap eyesight like me, bad shakes, but you're fighting an uphill battle really. I find it an irony that when you're younger you didn't know all these skills and you had to learn them, and that's when you had good eyesight and you had good motor skills. But as you get older you've learnt the skills and your motor skills and your eyesight's gone. Life's just one big suck at times. Anyway, here we go, just putting the handrail knobs in, ready for the wire to go in. And this will be so much easier with better dexterity. But I managed in the end, which was the main thing. I have patience. I've learnt nowadays to stop throwing things. Doesn't get you any further forwards. Catapulting an engine across the room is usually a negative thing. It used to frustrate me, now I go, try tomorrow. But yeah, over the years when I've had this and I've got frustrated, I have been known to pull things in the past. And just cut it off level it. I can trim it further after, but just makes it easier to handle while we're putting the handrail in. There we go, just a dab of super glue, pop it in, and that's all done by the trimming down. And here I was finding it awkward to find the angle. I wanted to cut it without taking it off again, but that didn't happen. I had to take it off again and glue it in. It's still not perfectly short. I didn't bother as it goes, but I could have filed it down and made it a lot trimmer, but I thought for what you see it doesn't really matter. Anyway, here we go, putting it into primer, and I can't remember which one I used here. I'm presuming I used the Games Workshop Wraithbone primer, looking at it. It's actually quite a good primer, but I find Games Workshop products very expensive. And here I'm just putting on, it's actually a car paint, it's satin black. It was actually more glossy than I'd have liked, but I just wanted to get a black on there. And I wanted one that were resilient to tape, because sometimes car paint's a little bit tougher than acrylics, because when you're removing the tape it can peel acrylics sometimes, because acrylics need a few days to bond. The longer you leave them, the tougher the bond gets to the surface. And the colour I'm spraying here, I'm trying out a new brush, and I'm using Tamiya NATO Brown, acrylic, and I've used what's called washi tape, W-A-S-H-I, and it's basically what Tamiya tape is. It's a vegetable product tape that's easy to turn, and the difference is you can find it on eBay, washi, and it's all sorts of colours because it's used in arts and crafts. It has colours, it has patterns, it has all sorts, but it's a fantastic alternative to expensive Tamiya masking tape. In fact, if anything, I'd say this is nicer and leaves a crisper line than Tamiya does. There's the result of it coming off. I'm just touching up the handrails and any other areas where I may have caught with a brown. Just quick touch ups and here, there and everywhere where I'm not happy. Likewise, I went round with the Tamiya NATO brown after and touched up any brown areas where I weren't happy with them. And at this point I'm just polishing up some nameplates I bought. It actually, if you can't see it on it, it actually says Lynette. I just bought any off eBay. And here I'm putting on it's actually an LNER number 2. But it's suitable for a fleet number. And here I'm just going over in satin varnish. And at this point I'm using, what is it? I think I used a Revel enamel red there, to be honest. I don't like Umbral enamels, but Revel enamels are far superior. But sometimes they can benefit from actually thinning. Here I'm using Revel silver just to go over the buffers. And here we go. Frackwards and barwards action. Up and down. Anyway, here's where we started off. A kid painted Hornby Industrial 040 with a missing smoke box door. And here's where we ended up. It's been given some lamps. I've painted the builder's plates. It's had a nameplate, a fleet number. I could have gone on, I could have given it its vacuum hoses and all sorts, which I probably will on one of them in the future. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks to all my subscribers. If you haven't, why not? It's free. And tatty pie, everyone.